back to the channel. As you guys can see, it's completely a different season now compared to the last video. The truck is exactly how I left it. I haven't changed anything on the outside nor the inside. Everything from the outside is still the same. I mean the outside, everything from the inside is still the same. We still have the same steering wheel. I did sell my cluster. I got a Denali cluster. I ended up picking up a Denali cluster for a pretty good price. The only thing is that what I didn't know and what I should tell you guys, you can't drive with the Denali cluster if it's not programmed, because you're gonna end up breaking it. And now I have to go through a different process in order to get my cluster programmed. So I kind of fucked up on my part. Thankfully I found somebody to do it, but they're gonna have to do it remotely. We're gonna have to be doing it a different way compared to how normally people do it. We're not gonna program it in this video, but just a heads up, if you pick up a Denali cluster, don't drive with it because you can break it and you have to go through a different process in order to program it. And I have to find out my original miles for the truck, because I don't know what my original miles are because I've been driving it with the cluster. The thing is with the cluster, as you guys saw in the beginning of when I first showed you, it has only dashes and the miles. It doesn't show the miles at all. So, you know, I kind of messed up, but it's whatever. But that's not what this video is about. We're gonna just be adding the steering wheel controls and the steering wheel, the brand new steering wheel for the truck. As you guys can tell, the sun makes it look brown, but reality is black. But yeah, we have the brown steering wheel on the truck. Everything in here is the same. Nothing's been added to the truck. Left it how it is. Put in the seat. I've been driving the truck like this, exactly like this. No carpet, no nothing. Looking like I jacked the shit. I did add the glove boxes to the truck and they're fully installed. I had to pick up a different glove box, a lower glove box, because I scratched my original one. So I ended up picking one up for like, I think it was like $100. We're gonna be adding the steering wheel controls and the steering wheel to it, because we need to be able to navigate through the cluster, because you're not able to do that with the original steering wheel. It doesn't have anything to control the cluster with, because if you didn't know, you have like different options on the cluster compared to the stock cluster, and the stock cluster isn't connected to the steering wheel. So this one is, so we had to pick up a steering wheel, and thankfully I picked up a brown steering wheel and a brown airbag at the same time for a good price. So normally this airbag is like $300. That's like on a low end, $300 for just a brown airbag. And even to find a brown airbag is kind of hard because it's brown. It's like you can find a black one all day, but a brown one is a little bit harder to find. Thankfully I found one. Found this. We found the steering wheel. He was selling it together for, you know, $200. So I had to pick it up, and thankfully the steering wheel is like in mint condition, airbags in good condition. So, you know, shout out to him for hooking it up. And we're gonna be using this steering wheel. We have this right here. This is from an aftermarket radio or aftermarket stereo. This right here we're gonna be using to get hopefully, what I'm assuming is gonna happen is that we get the radio controls. Like we're able to like shuffle through the music up and down on the radio with the steering wheel, because I don't have that on my steering wheel. So hopefully we're able to add them with this. If not, then it's okay, but hopefully we're able to add it. And then this right here is the this is like an extra harness that came with the aftermarket radio. This, we're not gonna be using this, so we're just gonna take some of this wire. We're gonna cut this green wire out in order to make our own harness to link the cluster to the steering wheel. This Gen 5 shit gets a little complicated, but it's not too complicated if you know, do some research. It takes time, but yeah, just do your research. This right here allows us to link the cluster to the steering wheel controls. This right here is what's gonna give us the ability to do that. And I ended up picking, I think like 23 of them up, but I lost some of them, so whatever. So the part number for these connectors is 928999-1. So 928999-1. So that's the part number for these connectors right here. That's what's gonna give us the ability to connect the steering wheel to the cluster, and we'll be able to navigate the cluster with the steering wheel. So let's go ahead and cut out this green wire from this harness, and hopefully it's long enough to run me from the cluster to the steering wheel. I think it will. So we'll make it look nice in the end. We're not gonna make it look all nasty and shit. So let's jump right into it. The wire that I took off from that radio harness is a 20 gauge wire. So 20 gauge, or I think 22 and 24. Why I say 22 22 and 24 gauge can work perfectly fine. I'm gonna take one of these little things off, one of these little connectors, and I'm gonna try and put it right here. The video that I watched, the guy said don't get past, I'll just pop up a picture. This camera is I don't have it set to not make it it blurs too much. Alright, so check it out, chat. I ended up switching the wire because the wire was a little bit too big, so I had to switch the wire to a different one. It's a little bit smaller. I think this is a 22 gauge or 24. I think the other one I was using was either 20. I think it was 20. So it was a little bit too big, and it wasn't giving me the access or the ability to crimp it. But as you guys can see, it is nice and crimped now. You may be asking, what did I use to crimp this? This is the crimper for this. You have to use a non-insulated crimper tool, and now I know that it's not going to go anywhere. But as you guys can see, it's nice and good on there. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. This is the cluster harness, and we're going to need to take this apart in order to tap into it. Alright, chat, so I just took off this plastic piece that was covering the wiring for the cluster. It has like these little tabs on it. Those tabs, bro, I feel like I broke them off because there's no real way to squeeze it. But just be very careful, and I think you'll be okay. I just tried hard not to mess it up, and I didn't mess it up, but still I chewed it up a little bit, but it's alright. So as you guys can see, this wire is perfectly fit to go in here. Perfect size. The other one was a little bit too big, so I'm glad I figured that out. I got the pin number for this, and it's gonna be number 20. Here there's number 17 at the very end and number 32 at this end, and what number we're gonna pin it into is number 20. So that would be for me right here. So number 17, count 17, 18, 19, 20. So it's gonna be right behind this gray one right here. These little connectors have little tabs on it, just like this one right here. At the very end, there's like a little arrow that goes down. That's the way you're gonna put it in. Is make sure that is the same direction as those, and you'll see it because that's what's gonna hold it in, is that little tab that it looks like an arrow right there. That's the only thing that sticks out of the connector. So yep, that right there, that's gonna go facing down. Make sure it's facing you and stick it in number 20. So just count from 17, as you guys can see number 17 right there. Count 1, 2, 3 all the way to 20, and then stick it in right there, and I'll show you 1 to 10. As you guys can see, it's in. You guys can see it compared to the other one right next to it. It's this one right here, and it is in. So now all we have to do is technically run it down down here. Sorry, I skipped a few steps. I took off my what's called my steering column, but we're gonna need to tap into a wire that's down here. This is also what that orange wires were going to. Before I do anything in this area, I'm gonna disconnect the battery because we don't want the airbag to pop or anything like that. But while we're at it too, we're also gonna take off the steering wheel and put in the new one. I finally took the airbag off. I'm gonna link a video down below because I am not going to show you guys how to do it when I can't even barely do it myself. So I already took off the steering wheel, unplugged the airbag and everything. This is the little connector that we have to tap into. If you look on this side right here, that green wire at the very end, if you're looking at the connector with the red facing you, because the other side doesn't have red, the red tab facing you, you look at the very end and you see that red connector on the very far right side, and then right next to it's going to be a green connector, and that connector, that's the one you're going to tap into. This is actually going to go between it's going to connect in here and then connect in here. It's basically like T-tapping it in order to get the radio controls. So hopefully it works, and turns out that they're actually tapping into the same one that I'm tapping into. So they're tapping into basically the same one, and I think I'm gonna tap this harness instead of my real actual harness. So but if you're not doing something like this, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm upgrading my stereo too. So this is gonna plug in there, and then just gonna go to the radio, which is not this one, it's a different one that we're gonna do in a different video. So stay tuned for that. I think I'm gonna undo this heat shrink and see if I can get under it and then make everything connect. And then after that, I'm gonna show you how I tuck it in all in there, and we'll see, plug everything back up, and hopefully everything works. I forgot to mention, and I haven't ran it either, so we can do it together. We're just gonna run it to the back, stick it to the back, and then a fall. The rest of the steering column wires go right under it. So what we're gonna do is just run it through. So the wire's gonna end up right here, and then what we're gonna do is run it up along these wires. You'll see it once you get back here. It's a decent amount of wires, but yeah, this loom of wire, we're just gonna tape it onto there as well and run it up to the bottom of the steering column where that connector was. So it's kind of hard to see, but here's our wire right here. All I did was put it right behind the dash right here. Make sure that it goes straight down, because it can probably go like back there. If you just stick it through the hole and just start pushing it, it's not gonna go. You have to make sure that it goes right behind this plastic piece. So make sure it goes down, bro. And once it goes down, you're gonna see it pop out right here. So all we're gonna do is make it align with this one, and then run it to the steering column connector. So I just tapped into the connector. This is the one from the cluster that we made. This one right here, and like I said, you're gonna tap into that second one on the last one of this connector. As we said, the green one, it's right beside the red one. It's the second one down. So we tapped into it, but on this one. And if you're not gonna do something like this, which I highly doubt you are, you're just gonna tap into that one right there. You're just gonna have to take some of this tape off and then tap into it, like by stripping the wire just a little bit, and wrap your wire around there. And as you can see, this is what I ended up doing. I just put the connection. This is the one for the radio that's gonna have like the volume control, and this is the one for the cluster. So hopefully everything works, and we're gonna try this out. I'm gonna start plugging back everything, but I'm not gonna tuck it in just yet, just because I want to see if it works first. So I'm gonna put the steering wheel, I'm gonna plug this back in, put the steering wheel, and then put the cluster, and see if everything works, if we did it right. So cross our fingers, and hopefully our ghetto thing comes out good. Alright chat, so it's officially the next day, and as you guys can see, we got the cluster plugged in, we got the steering wheel, the airbag, everything is plugged in. I'm gonna show you guys how the steering wheel controls work. If you guys don't remember, on my other steering wheel, it doesn't have this button right here. It's just like a blank black piece, and then these already had it, so these still work. The only thing that doesn't work is the heated steering wheel, but you know, sooner or later we'll add that. The reason that this doesn't work is because you need to change the clock spring for that. That's what gives the power to the heated steering wheel. We'll add that you know, one day. We can always go back and do it, but I'm gonna show you guys that the steering wheel controls do work. I'm already popping up warning lights for stuff that I don't have, you know, airbag, camera, sensor, all this bullshit. But as you guys can see, those light up, and it doesn't work. You know, that one wire that runs from the back of the cluster to the bottom of the steering column, that one wire that you have to tap into, gives you access to, you know, do all this shit on here. And as you guys can see, I just released all of those warning lights because I'm driving a POS. I'm going up and down the menu as before. I didn't have this. I couldn't control anything on the truck, and it gives me the ability to, you know, change like different layouts on the cluster. And bro, that thing looks like it looks so clean. This also looks like the what's it called, the Camaro cluster. I don't think the Corvette has the same cluster, but I know the Camaros have a similar cluster. But damn, that shit looks fire. But you can change out the layout to thing like 3 other ones. I'm gonna show you all real quick. On here, go in there. Oh shit, go down. Oh yeah, it's right here. So we're on standard mode right now, and as you guys can see, we have a few other ones. So yeah, it's only 3, but fuck, they're clean, bro. It's clean, it's nice. This shit is crazy how this shit works. But yeah.